Hey guys, welcome back to this mini-series. In this episode, we will be looking at the loading of the profiles that we have created. Here we do have a simple component that's able to create a new profile when we click on it and it has no data in it. So what we need to do basically is we need to be able to load this profile card and give it the data that comes from the save files which is associated to that card. So I will show you a way to do that. I think I already talked about this in a previous video, but basically I haven't found a way to load only a part of a file by using resources. I think it's possible with JSON, but here I'm using resources. So basically what we will have to do is to load the entire file and store the data in the profile card, right? So if we have 5 game files, we will load the entire data of the entire game 5 times. So it's definitely not optimal. And this should require, I want to say, a way or a system to load only what's necessary, which means the profile names and path of the file. But that could be a little more complicated than what I'm going to show you. Let's add this to the potential upgrades which can come when the series done, right? Maybe I will make more episodes to come back on this. But at the moment, let's do this with loading the entire data, okay? So here in this card, we already have quite a few things for the behavior with or without the data. So I think we will start by going in the SaveSystem and add a new method, which is going to be load the data of the profiles. So we will create a new static function, which is going to be load, or get profiles data, like this. And that will return an array of data, basically. So the very first thing we need to do, obviously, is to get all the names, all the paths of the save files in our save directory. So we will start with creating a variable save files, which is going to be a packed string array, and we will get all save files from there. Once we do have the names, we will be able to create a new array, which is going to be profiles data. It's going to be an array of data. And let's initialize it to an empty array. We can make a simple thing, which is if, well, actually, no, we don't need to make that. Let's start by looping the save files, basically, by creating the save file iterator and get all the save file in save files with an S, like this. So we will just loop in those files. In this simple loop, we will just create a new data, which is going to be an object data, which is going to be data.new, like this. And once we have our data.new object, we simply want to load whatever is in the save file that we have found. So we will have this new data equal to load of, we need to find the save path. So here we will use the directory path, then we will have saves, and we will have the save defined path in there. So if we create the two variables, we have dir path and save fine. So we should load this as data, basically. Once we're done looping and saving all the data, we should just simply return provides data. This should make sense. I think this is all we have to do if we want to get the informations of all the data and all the profiles at once. Okay, we do have the profiles data now. So basically, what's gonna happen is that the main menu, which is right there, when it is initialized, it will load the profiles with the method we just created, and it will create cards for each profile. So let's get in there. We have the ready method, so this is probably where this will be. And we have the on profile loaded, so that is when we click on a profile. So here we generate a profile card. So this will go in its own method, right? So let's create a create profile card method, which is going to be void, and actually it will take some data. Yep, it will take some data. So we grab this node right there, we put this here, and let's see what we have so that we don't make any mistakes. So we create a new node, which is a main profile card, okay. Then we instantiate a new main menu profile card, all right, and we bind those things. Okay, very cool. So now we're just gonna add a new line, which is if data, then we want node.data to be equal to data, basically. Actually, we don't necessarily need this check. We could just assign this, and eventually we will have a null data at some point. Okay. So now that we have a method that creates a single card, we need to create a new method that will basically generate or initialize profile cards. This won't take any arguments, and that will be a void method. So here, we will start by getting the list of cards we need to display. So profile cards data. This is an array of data, right? And this is equal to SaveSystem dot, what was the name? No, I don't remember the name. Get profiles data. So I think I didn't save. That's why I didn't get it. Get, yes, profiles data. So we have the array of profiles from the folder. All right. So now that we have the array, we can loop through it by saying that we have a profile card, which is a data, in profile cards data. And for each one, we will create a profile card and give it its own profile card data. All right. It should be that simple. Is it too simple? Because now we need to add the very last one, which is the empty one, basically, that creates a new profile. So we actually need to call the method again, create profile card, but we could give it the argument null. Okay, and here in ready, we want to initialize the profile cards. Are we good? I think we're good. So I'm kind of surprised it's already done. So if I start the game right now, Yes, it doesn't work. Okay. Here, I actually don't need to... Okay, I went way overboard with the path. Okay, so let's try again. We have another problem. Do we? The local variable new data is declared but never used. Oh yeah, that is so sad. Okay, so profile data dot append new data. This is so sad. Let's go. Okay, so we do have all the profiles loading right now. Actually, I created a lot of save files. And we have the new profile at the end. This is very cool. So now what we need to do basically is to update the profile card so that it displays the right data and not this default thing. Yes. Profile cards. So here we want the text. Well, this one is very easy. We want data to be equal to profile name. So if I start the game again, we should have new names. All right. Do I want to take care of the icon right away? It's definitely not the most important. I will not do the icon right now. I will probably not do it because it's just, you know, changing an icon. And if you really want it, I could make a video on it. I think, yeah, okay, I think I have an idea. I will make this a little more, I will add a few features to it, so it will be a little bit more fleshed out. And that will come in its own video. So right now, let's actually finish going to the game when we load something. Because right there, if we go in the main menu, we create something new and we pass, so nothing happens. So what we will be doing basically is proceeding to the game view, which is this empty view at the moment, with the new data that is relevant to whatever we created or we loaded. So the way I'm going to do this is by creating again those two signals, which are profile loaded and profile created, and I will put those signals in the main menu right there. So that root here can actually grab those signals to know what to do with the user interface. Or maybe we could add a script there. I don't know. Let's have root do that at the moment. Doesn't matter. So here, I'm going to create two new methods, which are going to be on profile loaded, which has data, and on profile. Well, actually, you know what? I don't need to make the other signal. I don't need to make the on profile created right there, because when we create a new profile like this, we can then proceed to load the new file we created, and that's going to be cool. So maybe this here will return the save pass. Okay, I will do that afterwards. Let's start with this on profile loaded right there. So I will emit the signal on profile loaded. Profile loaded, yes. I will emit this with data as an argument. So now in root, I will get that, and what I will do is basically have data to be referencing this data. So data is going to be equal to data. And let's put an underscore here. And once this happens, we want to move to the GameView, basically. So I'm going to create a new method, which is going to be function display game. Yes, let's go with that. And we will clear the user interface, and we will have a node, which is going to be a node at the moment. And I will load the game. So what do we have? We have GameView right there, right? Aspect scene. And I will instantiate this. Let's see, dot instantiate as node. Okay. So we create the node and we add it to the user interface. So we get the node. We have a person's user interface and we add the node created. So here we change the data and we display game, basically, I guess. Okay. So back to main menu. Here on profile loaded, I made this signal. Yep. So here I created this method. So I need when I create the user interface, so when we display the main menu like this, we basically want to connect node.profileLoaded.connect to onProfileLoaded. There we go. Okay, so here, blah, 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 we have connected this. Okay. So if I click on something, okay, this swaps me to the game view, which is cool. And if we look at the remote of the game right there, in the user interface, we have the main menu. And then when I click somewhere on the profile, main menu is gone and we have the game view instead. Good. Game view. Basically, it can access data at any point in time. Do I want to be displaying that? Yes, of course I do. So let's see. Let's create a margin and a label. So the margin will be 64 on all sides, and the label, which is going to be a header large, will basically display profile name after being centered, of course. So here we can create this class name GameView, and we will have the variable data in there. And already, what I'm going to do is have this header get node of the header as label dot text to be equal to profile. Well, let's have data dot profile name like this. Looks good. So I load the profile 3, and what is so bad about it? Yep, I forgot to finish this. So here we have this game view, and now that we have this game view assigned, we can have node.data equal data. Right, so now we can load the profile and get the profile 3. Oh. So anyway, you get the point. You load the profile 3, you load the profile 2, and at any point in time, well, we actually didn't create this thing with the new profile. So here we have this new profile thing. So what happens right there is that we create a profile and we want basically to load it, but we need the data. How do I created a new profile. What is about it? Well, you know what? Let's remove this thing. Let's have this data here, and the SaveSystem will return data instead of the path. So here I will return new data like this. So I return new data, and in there I return data. Profile loaded data. Okay. So now I create the profile 7 and it works. Right. So of course, there are quite a few things we can do to make this better. Something like, for example, how to delete a save file. That could be interesting. Do I want to do this right away? I don't know. I actually don't. I don't want to. Let's not take care about. This is going to be all we have for this episode. Generated, well, loading all the profiles from the save files and still being able to create new one to get the profile 8. I hope you liked this episode, even though it was very chaotic at the end, but it's okay. Yeah, I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next one if I do add an episode to this series, which could happen with the icons, but to be fair, the heavy lifting has been done, so right now, if you really want to see something more in this series, ask me. Otherwise, it's probable that I just leave it like that unless I have a huge ID that tells me, oh no, you forgot about this. So at the moment, yeah, I'm gonna close this series and you tell me what you want to see in it. So yeah, that's it for today. Have a good and fun game dev time, and I will see you in the next video.